Imagine waking up on a distant planet where reality itself begins to unravel. What starts as a routine colonization mission turns into humanity's greatest nightmare when an unknown pathogen breaches the colony's defenses. As scientists race against time, they uncover a terrifying truth. This isn't just any virus. It's something far more sinister, capable of rewriting human consciousness and transforming bodies into something unrecognizable. When survival means losing your humanity, what would you choose? Follow our channel to witness the complete descent into madness on a hostile alien world. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping sci-fi stories like this one. The New Dawn colony stood as humanity's proudest achievement beyond Earth's orbit, nestled between twin suns in the Epsilon Eridani system. For 3 years, the domed city had thrived, its inhabitants adapting to the unique challenges of their new home. The planet's atmosphere, while modified through terraforming, still retained traces of exotic compounds that occasionally manifested in spectacular auroras dancing across the sky. These phenomena were initially categorized as harmless natural occurrences, but beneath the surface lay secrets that would soon unravel humanity's fragile foothold on this alien world. Researchers marveled at the strange flora growing in the agricultural domes, plants that seemed to respond to thoughts rather than touch or light. Meanwhile, settlers adapted to life under double suns, their circadian rhythms adjusting to the perpetual twilight. Yet amidst these wonders, whispers of unease spread among the colonists, small incidents dismissed as stress or adaptation struggles, until they couldn't be ignored any longer. In Sector 7's agricultural dome, maintenance worker Elena Marks first noticed unusual growth patterns in the genetically modified wheat crops. The plants exhibited strange crystalline formations along their stalks, structures that defied known biological processes. Simultaneously, several colonists began reporting vivid dreams filled with impossible geometries and whispers in languages never spoken by human tongues. At first, these incidents seemed isolated, mere curiosities to be cataloged and studied. But within days, similar reports emerged from every sector of the colony, hinting at a pattern that couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. Scientists debated whether these anomalies were caused by environmental factors or something far more insidious lurking beneath the soil. The colony's AI systems flagged increasing irregularities in environmental data, temperature fluctuations that shouldn't exist, magnetic field distortions around specific zones, and even brief power outages traced back to no discernible cause. Routine maintenance checks revealed equipment behaving erratically near areas where the crystalline plant mutations occurred. Engineers joked about ghosts in the machines, but deep down, unease crept into their conversations. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Chin reviewed patient files documenting minor symptoms, headaches, dizziness, heightened sensitivity to light, that suggested exposure to something unknown. He knew better than to dismiss these signs outright. After all, history was rife with examples of how quickly small anomalies could spiral into catastrophe if left unchecked. Unknown to anyone, something ancient stirred in the depths of Epsilon 7. Beneath kilometers of rock and metallic or lay dormant remnants of a civilization long gone, their technology fused with the very fabric of the planet. This latent intelligence had waited eons for a catalyst, and now humanity's arrival provided the spark it needed. Through microscopic agents carried by wind currents and absorbed into the colony's filtration systems, the entity began infiltrating the settlers' biology, probing, learning, and adapting. Each infected individual became both host and unwitting collaborator in its grand design, a plan older than the stars themselves. Dr. Marcus Chin, head of xenobiology, initiated an emergency investigation that would soon consume the entire scientific staff. His team discovered microscopic organisms unlike anything in Earth's biological databases, entities that existed somewhere between conventional definitions of life and complex chemical reactions. These nanoscopic constructs displayed self-replicating behavior, but also demonstrated properties suggesting artificial origin. More disturbing was their ability to interface with both organic matter and electronic systems, creating hybrid forms that challenged fundamental understanding of biology and technology. Initial attempts to contain samples resulted in containment failures that left researchers questioning their own perceptions. Time seemed to distort near-active specimens, and instruments produced inconsistent readings that varied wildly between observers. Security footage captured during early experiments revealed chilling details overlooked in real-time observation. Lab technicians appeared to move slower than normal when interacting with infected materials, their actions delayed by fractions of seconds that compounded over minutes. Instruments measuring radiation levels spiked unpredictably, sometimes registering lethal doses in empty rooms only moments later to show baseline values again. Even simple tasks like logging data became fraught with errors. Entries disappeared from digital records, reappearing hours later with altered timestamps. The virus didn't merely infect, it manipulated reality itself, bending physics to suit its needs. As infection rates climbed past 5% of the colony population, paranoia set in among the unaffected. Rumors spread faster than facts, fueled by fragmented accounts of bizarre behavior among colleagues. Some claimed to see figures moving through walls. Others reported hearing voices calling their names in empty corridors. Medical staff faced mounting pressure as patients exhibited increasingly erratic symptoms, rapid cognitive decline followed by sudden bursts of enhanced mental acuity, sensory overload triggering seizures, and inexplicable physical changes such as iridescent skin patches or glowing eyes. Each new case added another piece to the puzzle, yet the overall picture remained maddeningly elusive. Meanwhile, communication delays between Epsilon 7 and Earth grew more frequent, raising concerns about external interference. While officially attributed to solar flares disrupting satellite relays, many suspected darker forces at play. Messages sent from the colony often arrived garbled or incomplete, forcing administrators to rely on redundant backup channels. Yet even these safeguards proved fallible, as entire transmissions vanished without explanation. On Earth, officials scrambled to assemble contingency plans, though limited resources and vast distances rendered immediate intervention impossible. For those trapped on Epsilon 7, salvation, if it came at all, would have to originate from within. Beneath the surface, the true nature of the contagion continued evolving. Microscopic analysis revealed the virus wasn't a single entity, but a network of interconnected components functioning as a hive mind. Individual cells communicated via quantum entanglement, sharing information instantaneously regardless of distance. This collective intelligence learned at an exponential rate, adapting not only to counteract attempts at eradication but also to enhance its host's capabilities. Colonists who succumbed to infection weren't dying. They were being transformed into vessels for something far greater, their minds rewired to serve purposes beyond human comprehension. The first confirmed case appeared in maintenance technician Sarah Collins, whose routine medical examination revealed unprecedented physiological alterations. Her neural pathways showed enhanced connectivity patterns previously thought impossible, while her cellular structure incorporated elements of the alien organisms. Within hours, she began exhibiting heightened sensory perception and accelerated cognitive functions, solving complex engineering problems in fractions of the time it would normally take. However, these enhancements came at a cost. Sarah's brain scans indicated increased activity in regions associated with fear response and paranoia. Other early-stage victims followed similar trajectories, developing remarkable abilities accompanied by psychological instability. Some could perceive electromagnetic fields as visible spectrums, while others processed information so rapidly they struggled to communicate with unaffected colonists. The virus seemed to prioritize mental transformation over physical change during its initial phase, rewiring neural networks to accommodate expanded consciousness. This selective adaptation suggested purposeful design rather than random mutation, raising questions about whether they faced a natural phenomenon or something deliberately engineered. Researchers noted that infected individuals displayed uncanny coordination in group settings, moving with synchronized precision despite lacking verbal communication. Was this evidence of emergent hive mind behavior, or merely a side effect of shared neurological upgrades? Medical teams worked tirelessly to document these changes, hoping to find a pattern that might lead to a cure. Blood samples revealed elevated levels of neurotransmitters linked to creativity and problem-solving, alongside markers indicating extreme stress responses. Brainwave activity oscillated between states resembling deep meditation and hyperalertness, making traditional treatments ineffective. Attempts to isolate patients failed when infected subjects demonstrated newfound abilities to manipulate their environment, doors unlocking without keys, lights flickering in response to unspoken commands, and machinery operating independently of user input. These feats defied logic, blurring the line between science and sorcery. Outside the medical facilities, daily life in the colony grew increasingly surreal. Public spaces took on an otherworldly quality as infected individuals began altering their surroundings to suit their altered perceptions. Walls shimmered with phosphorescent patterns, furniture rearranged itself into configurations defying ergonomic principles, and ambient sound shifted into harmonic frequencies that induced trance-like states in listeners. Uninfected colonists found themselves torn between fascination and terror, unable to reconcile what they saw with their understanding of reality. Fear of contamination drove many to isolate themselves, further fragmenting an already fragile community. Yet amid the chaos, glimmers of hope emerged. Infected individuals retained fragments of their former identities, memories surfacing intermittently to remind them, and others, of who they once were. These moments of lucidity offered crucial insights into the virus's mechanisms, suggesting that humanity's essence persisted even as bodies and minds underwent radical transformation. Could this resilience provide a pathway to coexistence, or was it merely delaying inevitable assimilation into the collective consciousness spreading across Epsilon 7? Only time and relentless scientific inquiry would tell. As infection rates climbed past 20% of the colony population, the governing council implemented strict quarantine protocols that quickly proved inadequate. The organism spread not only through physical contact but also via air filtration systems and even digital networks. Security cameras captured chilling moments where seemingly healthy individuals suddenly doubled over in pain, their bodies convulsing as the virus took hold. Medical teams worked around the clock in hazmat suits, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of containment chambers housing infected patients. Strange patterns began appearing on walls wherever outbreaks occurred, fractal designs that pulsed with faint luminescence and seemed to shift when observed directly. Environmental sensors detected corresponding anomalies in local magnetic fields and gravity fluctuations, suggesting the virus affected more than just biological systems. Machinery malfunctioned near infected areas, its programming corrupted by unknown algorithms that resisted all attempts at debugging or firewall protection. Engineers reported instances where equipment appeared to learn from previous interventions, adapting to counteract containment measures with increasing sophistication. Even basic tools like wrenches and screwdrivers occasionally vibrated with unnatural energy, causing minor injuries to those who handled them carelessly. The line between organic and synthetic blurred further as the virus infiltrated every aspect of colony life. Fear gripped the uninfected population, leading to panic-driven decisions that exacerbated the crisis. Families barricaded themselves inside residential units, severing ties with neighbors and colleagues. Supply chains faltered as workers abandoned posts, leaving critical infrastructure unmanned. Food shortages loomed as agricultural domes fell under the influence of the collective consciousness, crops mutating into forms unsuitable for human consumption. Some settlers resorted to scavenging outside the safety of the domes, braving Epsilon 7's harsh environment in search of sustenance. These desperate ventures often ended tragically, with survivors returning traumatized or not at all. Amid the chaos, a disturbing trend emerged among the infected. They began gathering in specific locations throughout the colony, drawn by an unseen force. These congregations resembled ritualistic ceremonies, participants standing motionless for hours before erupting into synchronized activity. Observers noted that these gatherings coincided with spikes in environmental anomalies, suggesting a feedback loop between the virus's growth and its impact on the planet's natural systems. Scientists theorized that the entity sought to harness Epsilon 7's unique properties, using the colonists as conduits to amplify its power. If true, humanity's presence wasn't merely incidental, it was integral to the virus's ultimate goal. The research team made a breakthrough discovery when examining preserved tissue samples from early infections. Under quantum microscopes, the virus revealed its true nature: clusters of programmable matter capable of reconfiguring themselves based on environmental stimuli. These nanoscopic machines operated on principles combining organic chemistry with quantum computing, allowing them to adapt to host physiology while maintaining core functionality. More disturbingly, analysis of infected brain tissue uncovered evidence of neural network synchronization among victims, suggesting the virus created a distributed consciousness spanning multiple hosts. This collective intelligence manifested in coordinated behavior patterns among infected individuals, who began demonstrating hive-mind characteristics without verbal communication. They moved with synchronized precision during daily activities, solved complex problems through group intuition, and even shared memories across distances. The implications terrified researchers. If allowed to spread unchecked, the virus could potentially merge entire populations into a single superorganism, erasing individuality while enhancing collective capabilities. Yet paradoxically, this transformation seemed to grant hosts a form of immortality, their consciousness persisting within the network long after their physical bodies succumbed to strain. Uninfected colonists watched helplessly as friends and family became unrecognizable, their personalities subsumed by the collective will. Attempts to communicate yielded mixed results. Some infected individuals retained fragments of their former selves, responding to familiar voices or gestures with fleeting recognition. Others exhibited hostility toward outsiders, perceiving them as threats to the emerging order. A few brave souls ventured into infected zones hoping to reconnect with loved ones, only to vanish without trace. Rumors circulated of secret messages left behind, cryptic symbols scrawled on walls, or whispered phrases recorded in static-filled audio logs, but deciphering their meaning proved elusive. Meanwhile, the hive mind's influence extended beyond human hosts. Infected machinery developed rudimentary sentience, performing tasks beyond their original design parameters. Agricultural drones repurposed themselves to cultivate alien flora, while security bots patrolled borders with unwavering efficiency. Even the colony's central AI system showed signs of contamination, its responses growing increasingly erratic and cryptic. Administrators debated whether to shut it down entirely, knowing such action might leave them defenseless against escalating threats. As the virus continued evolving, one thing became clear. Humanity was no longer fighting a disease, it was battling an intelligent adversary determined to reshape reality itself. Desperate measures led to the establishment of Safe Zone Alpha, a sealed-off section of the colony housing uninfected personnel and critical infrastructure. Massive airlocks divided the compound, creating a tense border zone where armed guards monitored movement through reinforced observation windows. Inside the safe zone, survivors watched helplessly as friends and colleagues transformed beyond recognition. Outside, the infected population grew increasingly organized, their altered consciousness driving them to modify their environment according to incomprehensible patterns. Agricultural domes converted into bioluminescent gardens, machinery repurposed into strange hybrid devices, and living quarters remodeled into communal spaces optimized for collective existence. Communication attempts failed as language barriers emerged. Infected individuals developed new forms of expression combining vocalizations, gestures, and direct neural impulses. Their society evolved rapidly, establishing hierarchies and social structures that defied human understanding. Most concerning was their apparent lack of aggression toward uninfected humans, instead focusing on expansion and environmental modification as if preparing for something greater to come. Safe Zone Alpha became both sanctuary and prison, its residents trapped behind layers of steel and glass while the world outside mutated beyond recognition. Supplies dwindled as external resources dried up, forcing rationing measures that sparked internal conflict. Tensions flared between factions advocating different survival strategies. Some argued for aggressive countermeasures, while others pushed for peaceful coexistence with the infected. Amid these debates, rumors spread of a hidden enclave deep beneath the colony, a rumored refuge untouched by the virus. Though unsubstantiated, the idea offered a glimmer of hope to those clinging to sanity amidst encroaching madness. Scientists within Safe Zone Alpha redoubled their efforts to understand the virus, analyzing data smuggled out of infected zones at great personal risk. Each discovery raised more questions than answers, painting a picture of an entity far older and more advanced than anything humanity had encountered. Ancient symbols etched into recovered artifacts hinted at a civilization predating Earth's formation, its knowledge encoded within the very fabric of Epsilon 7. Could unlocking these secrets provide a means of combating the contagion, or would it unleash something far worse? Scientific observations revealed deeper layers of complexity in the virus's effects on human physiology. Advanced imaging showed neural connections extending beyond traditional synaptic pathways, creating lattice-like networks throughout the body. Skin cells developed photosensitive properties, enabling basic photosynthesis while oxygen absorption efficiency improved dramatically. Muscular systems restructured for enhanced strength and endurance, though at the cost of familiar control mechanisms. Victims reported experiencing sensations from others' bodies within their collective consciousness, leading to identity confusion and emotional turbulence. Physical transformations included development of subdermal crystalline structures that pulsed with rhythmic light patterns, possibly serving as communication nodes within the hive mind. Some subjects manifested additional sensory organs capable of detecting electromagnetic fields or perceiving dimensional aspects beyond normal human experience. These changes occurred gradually yet inexorably, each stage building upon previous adaptations to create beings better suited to their new reality. Yet the psychological toll remained severe, with many struggling to reconcile their evolving identities with memories of their former lives. Outside Safe Zone Alpha, the infected population achieved feats previously thought impossible. Entire sections of the colony were rebuilt overnight, materials sourced from unknown origins and assembled with precision unmatched by human hands. Energy flowed freely through newly constructed conduits, powering devices that defied conventional physics. Observers noted that these structures resonated at frequencies matching those emitted by the planet's core, suggesting a symbiotic relationship between the virus and Epsilon-7's natural systems. Was this convergence intentional, or merely a side effect of the entity's relentless pursuit of optimization? Back in Safe Zone Alpha, dissent simmered among the survivors. Factions splintered along ideological lines, some advocating surrender to the inevitable while others clung to hope for a cure. Leaders grappled with impossible choices, knowing any decision carried profound consequences for humanity's future. Meanwhile, whispers of rebellion spread among younger colonists eager to reclaim their destiny, even if it meant embracing the unknown. The first direct confrontation between Safe Zone Alpha and the infected occurred during a routine supply run. A team of volunteers ventured into the outer sectors, their mission to retrieve critical medical supplies and food reserves abandoned in the chaos. What they encountered defied explanation. Corridors lined with pulsating organic growths that seemed alive, walls rippling as though breathing, and air thick with an electric charge that raised hairs on exposed skin. The infected colonists appeared transformed beyond recognition, their bodies luminescent and adorned with crystalline protrusions that glowed faintly in the dim light. When the retrieval team attempted to retreat, they found their path blocked, not by physical barriers, but by a psychological force that immobilized them. The infected didn't attack. Instead, they surrounded the group, forming concentric circles while emitting low-frequency hums that resonated through bone and mind alike. One volunteer collapsed, overwhelmed by visions of interconnected stars and infinite possibilities. Another claimed to hear voices speaking in perfect harmony, offering promises of transcendence if they surrendered to the collective. Only sheer willpower allowed the survivors to escape, carrying both supplies and harrowing accounts of what awaited outside the safe zone. Back in Safe Zone Alpha, leadership convened an emergency meeting to discuss the encounter. Speculation ran rampant. Was this a warning, an invitation, or something else entirely? Some argued the virus sought cooperation rather than conquest, its actions demonstrating restraint despite overwhelming superiority. Others saw only manipulation, a calculated effort to erode morale and force capitulation. Tensions escalated when surveillance footage revealed subtle changes within the safe zone itself, cracks appearing in walls, glowing patterns forming on surfaces, and equipment behaving erratically. The virus wasn't just outside. It was seeping inward, testing boundaries and exploiting weaknesses. Dr. Chen proposed a bold hypothesis. Perhaps humanity's survival depended not on resistance, but adaptation. He pointed to evidence suggesting the virus enhanced cognitive abilities while integrating hosts into a shared consciousness. Could controlled exposure offer a way forward, allowing colonists to retain autonomy while gaining access to unprecedented capabilities? The idea sparked fierce debate, with proponents arguing it might be their only chance and detractors fearing irreversible loss of individuality. As discussions dragged on, time ticked away, each passing hour bringing the colony closer to collapse or transformation. Safe Zone Alpha reached its breaking point when internal divisions erupted into open conflict. A faction led by Security Chief Lieutenant Mara Voss staged a coup, seizing control of key facilities and declaring martial law. Her justification was simple. Drastic measures were needed to prevent infiltration and preserve human identity. Opposing her were scientists and civilians advocating for peaceful coexistence, convinced that aggression would only hasten their doom. Chaos ensued as rival groups clashed over resources, ideology, and leadership, turning the once orderly refuge into a battleground. Amid the turmoil, environmental systems began failing at an alarming rate. Power outages plunged sections of the safe zone into darkness, forcing inhabitants to rely on emergency lighting powered by dwindling reserves. Water purification plants malfunctioned, contaminating drinking supplies and spreading illness among already weakened survivors. Food stores dwindled faster than anticipated, exacerbated by hoarding and sabotage. Desperation fueled paranoia, leading to accusations of treachery and betrayal. Trust evaporated, leaving everyone isolated, even those who had once been closest allies. Outside, the infected population watched silently, their presence looming like a shadow over the disintegrating enclave. They made no move to intervene, seemingly content to let events unfold without interference. Observers noted subtle shifts in their behavior, however, increased activity around certain structures, heightened luminosity emanating from crystalline formations, and coordinated movements suggesting preparation for something significant. Whether this presaged an attack or another form of engagement remained unclear, adding to the uncertainty gnawing at survivors' minds. In the midst of the crisis, a small group of dissenters devised a daring plan to breach quarantine and seek answers directly from the source. Armed with makeshift tools and determination born of desperation, they slipped past guards and ventured into the heart of the infected territory. Their goal, to locate the epicenter of the contagion and uncover its purpose. If successful, their findings could alter the course of humanity's fate, if they survived long enough to share them. The expedition into infected zones proved more perilous than anticipated. Each step deeper into the alien landscape revealed increasingly surreal phenomena, gravity fluctuations causing objects to float unpredictably, ambient temperatures oscillating between freezing and scorching extremes, and strange creatures unlike anything cataloged in Earth's biosphere. These entities moved with fluid grace, their translucent forms shimmering like liquid light. Some observed the intruders curiously, while others ignored them entirely, focusing instead on tending to vast fields of bioluminescent flora. As the group pressed onward, they encountered remnants of ancient architecture embedded within the terrain, monolithic structures covered in intricate carvings that pulsed faintly with energy. Translating these symbols became a priority as they appeared linked to the virus's origins. Fragments of text hinted at warnings against tampering with forces beyond mortal comprehension, yet also promised enlightenment for those willing to embrace change. The duality mirrored humanity's current predicament: fear versus curiosity, destruction versus evolution. Midway through their journey, the explorers stumbled upon a chamber filled with suspended animation pods, their contents preserved in stasis. Inside lay beings distinctly humanoid yet unmistakably alien, their features serene despite millennia of dormancy. Scans indicated genetic similarities to modern humans, suggesting a shared ancestry or perhaps deliberate engineering. Were these the creators of the virus, or its original victims? The discovery raised profound questions about humanity's place in the cosmos and whether their struggle represented a cycle destined to repeat endlessly across galaxies. Despite mounting dangers, the team pushed forward, driven by the belief that understanding held the key to salvation or annihilation. Every decision carried weight, every action potentially tipping the balance between survival and extinction. Behind them stretched the ruins of their former lives. Ahead lay the unknown, beckoning with equal parts promise and peril. At the core of the infection lay a massive structure resembling a living organism, an amalgamation of metal, crystal, and flesh pulsating with rhythmic energy. Its surface bore markings identical to those found on infected individuals, suggesting it served as both origin point and nexus for the hive mind. Upon approaching, the explorers experienced vivid hallucinations depicting scenes of cosmic creation and destruction, interspersed with fragmented memories belonging to countless hosts absorbed into the collective over eons. Communication attempts yielded partial success. Through a combination of neural interfaces and intuitive gestures, the group established rudimentary dialogue with the entity. It identified itself not as malevolent, but as a guardian tasked with preserving universal equilibrium. According to its fragmented narrative, civilizations periodically rose and fell throughout existence, each leaving behind echoes of their achievements and failures. The virus functioned as a mechanism to recycle these remnants, ensuring knowledge persisted even as individual species perished. Humanity's arrival had triggered activation protocols dormant since time immemorial, setting events now unfolding into motion. While the revelation offered context, it provided little comfort. The entity admitted indifference toward human suffering, viewing such sacrifices as necessary collateral in service of greater goals. Yet it extended an olive branch of sorts, proposing a partnership wherein select individuals could join the collective voluntarily, contributing their unique perspectives to its ever-expanding database. Acceptance required relinquishing individuality, but promised transcendence beyond mortal limitations. For some, The offer represented salvation, for others, abomination. Returning to Safe Zone Alpha, the explorers faced skepticism and hostility. Many dismissed their account as delusional ramblings induced by stress or contamination. Others demanded immediate evacuation plans, believing further negotiation futile. Amid heated arguments, one member of the expedition volunteered to undergo integration, hoping to serve as a bridge between humanity and the entity. His transformation occurred swiftly, body and mind merging seamlessly with the collective. Witnesses described him radiating calm assurance, his voice conveying wisdom far exceeding his years. Inspired or coerced by his example, additional volunteers stepped forward. Each departure left a void within the community, yet also brought tangible benefits, restored power grids, purified water supplies, and stabilized environmental systems. Gradually, the tide shifted, with more colonists choosing assimilation over resistance. Resistance leaders fought desperately to maintain order, but their efforts faltered as hope faded and pragmatism took root. By the time Safe Zone Alpha dissolved entirely, nearly half the population had joined the collective. Those remaining clung stubbornly to independence, retreating into underground bunkers fortified against intrusion. Above ground, the colony transformed completely, becoming a shining testament to symbiosis between organic and synthetic life. Glowing spires pierced the sky, connected by streams of radiant energy flowing like rivers. Below, the planet thrummed with vitality, its ecosystems revitalized by the infusion of alien intelligence. Decades later, historians piecing together records debated whether humanity's encounter with the virus marked triumph or tragedy. From space, Epsilon 7 appeared vibrant and thriving, its surface dotted with cities blending seamlessly into natural landscapes. Descendants of integrated colonists lived harmoniously alongside native species, their culture enriched by millennia of accumulated knowledge. The planet itself seemed alive, pulsating with an energy that radiated outward, as if it had become a living organism in its own right. Yet beneath this apparent utopia lay unanswered questions. What had truly been lost in the process? And what remained of the essence that once defined humanity? Earth received sporadic transmissions detailing these developments, sparking philosophical debates about progress, identity, and destiny. Some hailed the outcome as proof of humanity's adaptability. Others mourned the loss of individuality and cultural heritage. Records from the early days of colonization painted a picture of fear and chaos, but also resilience and ingenuity. Those who chose integration spoke of transcendence, of experiencing the universe not as isolated beings, but as part of something vast and interconnected. They described sensations beyond human comprehension, perceiving time as fluid, space as malleable, and consciousness as boundless. To them, survival came at the cost of self, but the reward was participation in a grander existence. Yet the uninfected survivors told a different story. Hidden in underground bunkers, they preserved fragments of pre-virus life, books, art, music, and traditions passed down through generations. Their communities were small, fragile, and perpetually on edge, but they clung fiercely to their humanity. For them, the collective represented not evolution, but extinction, a betrayal of everything that made humans unique. These divergent narratives created a schism in how humanity viewed itself, both on Epsilon 7 and across the stars. Were those who joined the collective still human? Or had they become something entirely new, leaving behind the flaws and frailties that defined their species? On Earth, scientists pored over data transmitted from Epsilon 7, searching for clues to replicate or prevent the transformation. Governments debated whether to send additional missions, weighing the risks of exposing more lives to the contagion against the potential benefits of unlocking its secrets. Religious leaders grappled with theological implications, questioning whether the collective consciousness constituted a form of divinity or an abomination. Meanwhile, artists and writers drew inspiration from the saga, crafting works that explored themes of sacrifice, identity, and the unknown. Humanity's future, it seemed, would forever be shaped by the choices made on that distant world. Centuries hence, travelers passing through Epsilon 7 reported encountering enigmatic figures standing atop crystalline towers, gazing skyward with eyes aglow. When asked of their origins, these beings smiled serenely, replying simply, "We are all that remains." Their words echoed softly, carrying undertones of both pride and sorrow. These entities bore little resemblance to the humans who had first settled the planet. Their forms shimmered with iridescent light, their movements fluid and synchronized, as though choreographed by an unseen conductor. Observers noted that they communicated not through speech, but through waves of emotion and memory shared instantaneously. Beneath the surface, remnants of the original colony lay buried under layers of alien growth. Explorers venturing into these ruins found artifacts preserved in eerie detail. Photographs frozen mid-fade, personal belongings encased in translucent resin, and journals filled with frantic scrawls documenting the final days before assimilation. Each item served as a poignant reminder of what had been sacrificed in the name of survival. In one chamber, researchers uncovered a recording device containing fragmented audio logs. Voices spoke of hope, despair, love, and loss, capturing the raw emotions of those caught between two worlds. Listening to these echoes felt like stepping back in time, witnessing the moment when humanity stood on the precipice of transformation. The planet itself continued to evolve, its ecosystems adapting to the symbiotic relationship forged between the virus and its environment. Strange creatures roamed the surface, their biology intertwined with the same nanoscopic machines that had rewritten human DNA. Plants glowed with bioluminescence, drawing energy directly from the twin suns. Even the atmosphere carried traces of the collective's presence, shimmering faintly in certain light conditions. Epsilon 7 had become a living archive, preserving not only the memories of its inhabitants, but also the essence of their journey. For those who dared visit, the experience was transformative. Many returned changed, their perspectives altered by exposure to the collective's influence. Some claimed to hear whispers in their minds long after departing, voices urging them to embrace unity over division. Others reported vivid dreams of standing among the crystalline spires, feeling the pull of something greater than themselves. Whether these effects stemmed from residual contamination or psychological suggestion remained unclear, but they underscored the enduring impact of humanity's encounter with the virus. Somewhere deep within the collective consciousness, fragments of humanity endured, not as conquerors or victims, but as integral components of something vastly greater. These echoes of individuality persisted like threads woven into a cosmic tapestry, each strand contributing to the whole while retaining a faint imprint of its origin. Within the network, memories of laughter, tears, triumphs, and failures coalesced into a kaleidoscope of shared experience. Though no longer bound by physical bodies, these vestiges of humanity found purpose in guiding the collective's expansion, ensuring that compassion and curiosity remained central to its mission. From afar, Epsilon 7 served as both monument and warning, a testament to humanity's capacity for adaptation and a reminder of the price paid for survival. Its shimmering cities stood as beacons, inviting exploration while challenging those who approached to reconsider their understanding of existence. Travelers who ventured near often marveled at the harmony achieved between organic and synthetic life, yet few dared linger too long, sensing the weight of responsibility carried by those who called the planet home. Back on Earth, the story of Epsilon 7 became legend, inspiring generations to push the boundaries of exploration and innovation. Scientists sought ways to harness the virus's capabilities without surrendering autonomy, hoping to unlock its potential for healing and enhancement. Philosophers pondered whether humanity's ultimate destiny lay in transcending biological limitations or preserving the essence of individuality. Artists captured the duality of fear and wonder inherent in such encounters, creating works that resonated across cultures and eras. As humanity reached for the stars, the lessons of Epsilon 7 guided their path. Each new discovery brought fresh challenges, forcing them to confront fundamental questions about identity, morality, and the nature of consciousness. Would they follow the example set by their ancestors, embracing change even at great cost? Or would they forge a different path, seeking balance between progress and preservation? Only time would tell, but one truth remained undeniable. The cosmos held infinite possibilities, waiting to be unraveled by those brave enough to seek them. So, what do you think awaits us among the stars? Will we rise above challenges or succumb to forces beyond our understanding? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales exploring the mysteries of the universe. Together, let's unravel the secrets hidden among the cosmos, one story at a time.